Hi there everyone, this is Trevor Carter. I just want to say we're going to be starting in the next 1 minute, so just bear with us and we'll start the webinar. Okay everyone, welcome. Today we're having this wonderful webinar on today to present to you about life coaching. So I just want to say thank you everyone for coming in. I'm Trevor Carter, your host for tonight, to webinar live and direct from the United Kingdom. I'm so excited tonight because this is going to be such a informative webinar to show you exactly how you can set up your own life coaching practice. Just to remind you that for those of you who are just coming in right now, if you look at the right hand side at the bottom, you'll have this chat box. I just want to ask if everyone will be able to type the number 1 if you can hear me okay. So if you go into the chat box at the right, at the bottom, just type in there number 1 just to know that you can hear me okay. Yes? Or number 2 if you can't hear me. If you can't hear me, type number 2. If you can hear me, type number 1. Okay? Okay, fantastic. People type there number 1, they can hear us, that's great. So I hope you got in nice and comfortable. I suggest that you sit back, relax, and grab yourself a nice cup of coffee or tea at the side of you, and have your notepad and pen, because Lyn Smith will be giving a very informative presentation tonight that I'm sure you'll be bursting with questions to ask regarding this coaching session tonight. And just also to let you know that it'll be interesting to find out where you are calling from. If you could type into the chat box, which country are you coming from? UK. England. Okay. Wales. Oh, hello, Wales. Okay. So most of you from UK. Okay, somebody asked if there's a bit of echo. What I would suggest you do, if you would check your settings on your laptop or your PC for the headphones, just to double check your settings. It may be you've got the settings a bit wrong. So hopefully that'll be able to fix it out for you. Okay, so most people coming from UK. Welcome everyone. It's good to see you all. And we are going to go straight into this webinar, so please, if I could ask you to try and switch off your mobile, switch down your Skype, or trying to be in a place where you cannot be distracted, because we want you to get the full benefits of this webinar. Okay everyone, so let's go straight into the webinar. And we're going to welcome now to my wonderful guest, Lyn Smith. Hello, Lyn.
Hello, Trevor. Thank you very much for that welcome. I just wanted to let people know that should you have any questions, they may well get covered through the actual webinar. So what I'd like you to do is to make a note of what the question is, and if it doesn't get covered, then if we've got time at the end, if you could type it into the chat box at the end, then I'll make sure I answer it live on the webinar. And if we don't have time at the end, if you still type it in, or if you want to email it to me, I'll make sure those questions get answered and that we share those questions, because it might be a question that other people have got that they might want answering as well. So at the end of the webinar, if I've got time, I'll do it live. If not, just enter it in the chat room box or email it to us, and I'll make sure I cover it and send out a universal email answering those questions for you. So let's get on. I just want to say a sincere thanks to everybody who's used up their valuable time to come onto the webinar tonight. I do appreciate that very much, because I know that regardless of what you invest in, you know, whether that's products or services, you can never actually get your time back again. So I'm so grateful, you know, that you've decided to give up this hour to listen to this webinar, and I sincerely intend to give you great value and trust that you know that I will. I've got some great information to impart, and I'm going to do my best to make this a very worthwhile hour of your time. So the first thing I want to ask, and just get you jot down, is the question, why are you here? So the first thing I'm going to get you to do is just answer that question, and I'm just going to give you a few seconds to think about that. Why are you here? What's prompted you to come on the webinar tonight? What's been your motivation for doing so? So let me just give you a few seconds to think about that for a minute. Now, it could be that you know, a friend's recommended that you listen to it because they might think you might make a great coach. It might be that you're interested in personal development and are just interested in learning about some personal development type training. But what is your reason why? The next thing I want you to think about is, who is the person you want to be? To live life at the highest level and set your own standards of excellence, who is the person that you want to be? Who do you aspire to be? Something's motivated you to come on to this webinar tonight and listen to me. What is that? You know, who's the person you would like to become? And I want you to also think about the power of decisions. It's very, very important to get good at making a decisions, because decision comes before all actions. And sometimes we get very lax about making decisions, don't we? We lose our decision-making muscle, so to speak. But it's in our moments of decision that actually our future is determined. So I want you to think about that for a minute, and think about committing to any decisions you might make on the back of listening to the information that I've got to impart to you tonight. Think about how you're going to do that and what's going to tell you that you are committed to that decision. I also want you to think about the fact that quite often people blame their conditions for not making their decisions, or for, you know, thinking about how good or bad or indifferent their life has turned out. Well, we all know that there's certain people that have had advantages in life, don't we? We all know there's certain people that have been born with silver spoons in their mouth. They've had the right parenting, they've had good schooling, they've had, you know, lots of material gifts, and yet still they're not probably leading a successful life. And yet on the flip side of that, you probably also know that it's true that there are people that have come from very disadvantaged backgrounds, you know, not been very well educated, have had poor parenting, have not had any material assets or wealth, but then as adults have become very, very talented, experienced and successful within their lives. So what's the difference? And the difference is, it's not your conditions that shape your life. It's your decisions that determine your future. And if you think about it, most of us have got poor at making committed decisions. We tend to say things like, or statements such as, oh, I'd like to do this, that or the other, or I'm interested in learning a bit more about personal development, or, hopefully maybe one day. Those sorts of type sentiments are statements that really are a bit wishy-washy, aren't they? They're a bit about, more about stating a preference rather than actually making a decision. So what I want you to think about is that the power of well, not just a decision, but a committed decision, is when you cut yourself off from any other possible outcome. So in other words, you've made that decision, you've started to take action on the back of it. And that's when you know that you've actually decided. Because if you don't make a decision, then what actually happens is that what you actually are doing is accepting life as it is. You're allowing life to control you rather than you controlling your life, aren't you?
Well, Lyn, one of the interesting things is that a couple of years ago, people weren't too sure about what life coaching actually was. So people are now saying, what is life coaching? And some people are comparing life coaching as the mentor and counseling. Now, for the benefit of those who are just getting the background of what life coaching is, can you tell us what exactly is life coaching?
I sort of tend to liken it to a bit like having your own personal trainer down at the gym or the health club, in that, if you're working out on your own down at a gym or a health club, you might give yourself a good workout, especially if you're into your fitness and your health. But even athletes, any professional athlete has a coach. Now, why is that? That's because a coach can get even more out of you as a person. That's because that trainer can help you achieve even more than you thought you were capable of. And that's a bit like what we do as coaches, only we're not just focused on health and fitness, we're focused on the whole person. So we're a bit more about the whole holistic approach, in that we want to help you achieve more and create a mindset for success. So it's more focused on your mental ability and giving you the tools, strategies and techniques to improve that capacity to improve your life. So that's my personal definition of what life coaching is all about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the other thing similar to that is the fact that I understood when I did coaching at that time, probably 8 years ago, it was it was a big industry, but I didn't have a real understanding how big it really was. So, can you tell us some facts about the coaching industry?
I certainly can. And one of the most interesting ones I come across was that Patricia Hewitt, who is one of the cabinet ministers in our government, was reported to use a £250 an hour life coach to cope with the pressures of working in government. And the government, when questioned, said they would prefer to use the term critical friend rather than life coach. And they actually said it was a spend they believed was critical to support key players in a demanding environment. Well, I don't know about being called a critical friend, but it's certainly different. But do know that, if you wanted to sort of specialise in having a niche area within government and coaching politicians, and that is open to you and that's available. So that's a great niche to target if that's what you're interested in. Also, I found out that 70% of all organisations engage in coaching, and 75% of these will now be increasing how they use coaching over the next 12 months, and that's courtesy of the Beach Consultancy White Paper, which surveyed 3,000 people from HR and coaching and learning and development backgrounds. So that's very useful and interesting to note, isn't it? Mm. And despite the evident success of coaching, which is still relatively new, with masses of untapped potential to grow in the UK, so far the coaching market is proving recession proof, so that's great news. And it's a great time to actually come into coaching and training as the economy is beginning to turn, and the recession is on its way out. So it's good news that we're at that turning point, but it's also been, you know, good to know that even despite the recession, coaches have been doing well and still succeeding and making a great living from that particular industry. So some great interesting facts and stats there for you.
Absolutely, and also that takes me into another question to ask you, really, basically, because when I first saw life coaching, I was having a bit of questions in the back of my mind, wondering if coaching was for me, and was it the right thing? So, for our benefit of our people who join in this webinar, they're probably asking yourself, well, I want to do coaching, but is it right for me? So, from your experience, Lyn, can you tell us exactly if people know if the coaching is right for them?
Well, for those that are actually on the webinar listening, I'm assuming that probably most of you might have already ordered our report, but if you haven't, then you might be familiar with some of the slides I'm going to show you now, because the content of these slides is actually in our free report, and it does go through some stages of information that lets you know if coaching is right for you. So let me just go on to that. And for us, within New Insights, there are 3 core requirements. We want you to have a passion and desire to help others be the best they can be. We want you to come from a place of integrity and have a commitment to work ethically within the industry, and have a good understanding and a great coaching experience in applying the tools and techniques. And that's what we've got within our training pack. You know, we have got some great tools and techniques, so you will have a great understanding and you will gain a lot of experience before you actually start coaching and designing your business around the industry. So just know that you have got that support, you will gain that insight, you will gain that understanding, and you will have a great experience of applying the tools and techniques that are contained with the program should you decide to go for this qualification. The next page, we've got this take the test as well that's contained within the free report. So again, forgive me if you've already read through this, but for those of you that haven't actually ordered a free report to have a look at the information that's contained within it, is take the test here, which is contained within it, and it's got: would others describe you as honest, ethical and self-aware? Do you have a genuine interest in helping others? Do people relate to you easily? Are you a generous listener? Do you build rapport and authentic connections easily? Are you excited by the thought of inspiring others to achieve? Are you able to put yourself in the shoes of others? Can you be compassionate and still tell it like it is? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Can you be compassionate and still tell it like it is? That is a very unique skill for most people, because quite often we need to put ourselves in that mindset, don't we, to show that compassion, but then still be able to tell people the truth and challenge them if needs be. And do you dream of a career filled with joy and meaning? And then the final one is, do you enjoy visioning on your own or with others? So that just really relates to, if you like, to meditation, that sort of thing, or just focusing silently in your own thoughts on what you'd really love to do, what you'd really like to achieve. So if you've answered yes to the vast majority of those, then just know that you are absolutely one of those people that is right for coaching.
Okay, Lyn, so we're seeing quite a lot of questions to keep our people brain ticking over as to when they're going through the webinar, they can get a good feel of what life coaching is all about. So could you take us into the understanding of exactly what is New Insight program?
Okay, I just wanted to tell people that coaching program consists of a 6-month program of 13 sessions. So that roughly means that you're delivering a session once every 2 weeks to your future clients. So what you're basically doing as part of the training is learning the 6-month program. And within that, there'll be some theoretical knowledge that you need to attain, which I'll explain a little bit later on, and also some practical coaching that you'll need to do with some practice clients. So within that program, though, there is some flexibility. So if you did want to go through the program yourself and be fast-tracked through it, you wouldn't necessarily just need to stick to having one coaching session every 2 weeks. You could, if you wanted to be fast-tracked through it, for example, have a session every week, but I wouldn't recommend that anybody has a session more regularly than that, and the same goes for your future clients, because people do need time to take action in between each session. So that's why, as a guide, we do like to stick to the once every 2 weeks, but do know that there is some flexibility within the training program that we've got. So let me just go on to take you through what's contained within those 13 sessions. So this is what's in the New Insights Life Coach Training Program. So this is what's encompassed in those 13 sessions that you're going to be learning as part of the training. Session 1 is all about setting goals. So we're actually making sure that people are aware of what they want to achieve. Next, we make sure that, having learned what they want to achieve and where they want to go in life, that they've got a great plan in place. So in session 2, we're actually making sure we create a plan with that client, and also making sure that they're not overwhelmed by the thought of, oh my gosh, the 6-month goal is a bit big and hairy for me. So the way we get around that is we chunk down that 6-month goal into monthly milestones to start with, and then we chunk down those monthly milestones into fortnightly action steps. And if you look to see what actions you'd need to take over the next couple of weeks, you'd think, yeah, I can do that over the next couple of weeks. And then you'd have your next session, you'd have some more actions set, and you'd think, yeah, I can do that over the next couple of weeks, and so on and so forth, until you almost hit your goal by accident. So we do show our clients how they're going to achieve that big hairy 6-month goal, which it feels like to some people. And also within that session, we look at what resources they've already got in place and what resources they might need to source for themselves in order to help them achieve the goal. Once we've got that foundation of those 2 sessions in place, then we start weaving in, and this is what I really love about this training program, some really powerful tools, strategies and techniques, some really powerful personal development tools. And the first 2 sessions we start weaving in, I focus on the topic of beliefs, and how we can ensure that your beliefs move you closer to success. Find out what your motivations are, find out what, if any, negative beliefs you may have, and if you do have negative beliefs that aren't going to support you in achieving your goal, how to get rid of those. There's actually tools and techniques to get rid of those negative beliefs, because beliefs don't have to be true, right, or real. They just have to serve you in helping you attain the goals that you want to achieve. And the only reason that we do have negative beliefs is because we've been conditioned to believe certain things through our lives, just down to our own parenting or education or life experiences. So we can always change those, and there is some fantastic tools within the program to help you and show you how to do it. Session 5, we've got a great session around values. We want to make sure people have got a great value structure that's aligned with the goal or goals that they've set for themselves. And now, what do we mean by values? Well, values are just experiences or feelings that we want to move towards or avoid, depending on which set of values you're looking at. So one of our values that we want to feel on a regular basis might be that you want to feel loved regularly. That might be one of your top values. But one of your values that you may want to avoid might be that you might want to avoid feeling any sort of rejection. So you can see how there could be a conflict there. If you want to avoid feeling rejection, but that one of your top values is that you want to move towards is that you want to feel loved, then you can see that there's definitely something we need to work on there, because there is a conflict, and people are quite often are not aware that there is this conflict that's going on. So we make sure we've got a value structure that's aligned to help you and make sure that you achieve the success that you want in terms of the goals that you've set for yourself. So what underpins values is rules. For example, your top value might be to feel loved, and your partner's top value might also be to feel loved. But what we're totally unaware of most of the time is that we've got hidden rules. And your rule for feeling loved might be that I would like to be told regularly that I'm loved. Whereas your partner's rule might be that they want to be shown regularly that they're loved. So you might be telling your partner, I love you, I love you, I love you, because that's your rule. And your partner might be showing you instead because of their rule. And you can see again how the conflict can arise because we're not aware that we've got these hidden rules. So if you are aware of your partner's rule and they are aware of your rule, then you can always help each other to be understood and feel loved. So you can see how that's quite important to understand the rules that underpin our values. Following on from that, we have a session all around our 6 human needs. Which one do you need met? So our 6 human needs revolve around, first of all, understanding that we've got 4 core human needs, and the 4 core human needs that we need to get met are the need for certainty, the need for variety, the need for significance, and the need for love and connection. And once we've got those 4 core needs met to a certain extent, then we go looking to get our higher needs met. And our 2 higher needs are the need for growth and contribution. So we go through all of those and make sure that you're getting those needs met. And then on session 8, this is how you become a really great communicator by taking yourself through this session, because you're actually doing your own personal development program on yourself, believe it or not, when you're actually doing this training. You know, you're getting rid of all your own baggage. And it's certainly very, very, very powerful, I can assure you. And so it should be, because if you've not done work on yourself beforehand, how can you expect to help other people? So there's a really great session here all about communication. And it's got all communication is projection. Well, what do we mean by that? Well, if I say something to you, then what's going to happen is that you're going to place a meaning on that communication, and depending on what meaning you place on that, and you're not necessarily aware that you're placing any sort of meaning on this communication, it's just done automatically normally, well, depending on what meaning you give it, will depend on how you respond. And I could say the same thing to somebody else in exactly the same tone of voice, and they might respond in a totally different way depending on what meaning they've given that piece of communication. So you can see how, you know, understanding this particular communication model is very important, and how it can make you a really effective, powerful communicator. Session 9 is all about this big word, responsibility, because as coaches, we need to make sure our clients understand that the responsibility is theirs for taking action. You can't take the action for them. And even if you wanted to, you know, that'd be disempowering for your client. So, you know, the reason that we're in the position that we're in, we want to empower our clients. So we want to make sure that they understand that that responsibility is theirs. And if you lay that out right from the outset, and then go over that at session 9, once they're almost 3/4 of the way through the program, then they'll have realized how empowering that's been for them to be that accountable and create the foundation for freedom for themselves. Great session. And then following on from that, we've got another great session about questions. It's got it's got the answer to everything here, Trevor. I don't suppose it is quite the answer to everything, but there is some great questions in that session. So if you're, as you're working through the program, or if your future client is working through the program and they get to a point where they're really stuck, you know, they're really challenged by certain situation or obstacles, or there's certain problems on, then there are some great questions in that particular session which gets them straight back on track again and gets them moving forward. And then session 11 is working on longer term goals. I really love to do, because by then they'll have almost completed their 6-month goal or goals. So we need to think about getting them on to working towards some bigger, higher goals. And after doing and completing all this previous personal development content, believe me, their goals get massive from this point onwards, you know, as their awareness and their learning and the discoveries and breakthroughs and aha moments are all achieved as they work through the 6 months. They suddenly realize, wow, you know, what is it really possible now for me to achieve on the back of seeing how easy it's been to achieve the 6-month goal. So we really get clear as to what those longer term goals are for them in session 11, for them to work on once the 13 sessions is finished and they've completed the 6-month ones. And then going on from there, we've got a session all around life's purpose. And believe it or not, Trevor, we get clear as to what that is for people within that session. And that may change. You know, that's not, again, set in stone. But, you know, for what it is for them at that particular moment in their life, we get clear as to what that truly is, because their 6-month goal that's set right at the beginning of the course, and even the longer term goals that are set in session 11, could in themselves be little stepping stones towards that bigger, higher, true life purpose. So very exciting stuff and very powerful stuff contained within the program. And then session 13 is all about celebrating. You know, they've achieved their 6-month goal or goals, or you have if you've gone through the program as a trainee coach and done all you need to do to education requirements. Then you'll have done all this work on yourself. So it's very, very powerful. And at this point, you celebrate. You know, you kick your shoes off, jump on the dining room table, have a drink of champagne if you drink. I'm not a drinker, I have to say. I'm teetotal, so for me, you know, the most I'd probably have is probably a glass of water to celebrate, but that's fine for me. And you know, really enjoy the moment that you've achieved those 6-month goals and you've got those exciting longer term goals to look forward to, and embrace all the previous discoveries and breakthroughs and learnings that you've had previously. So very exciting, Trevor, the whole program.
Absolutely. I'm looking at these sessions and I'm looking at and actually putting myself in a position after the sessions as we go along. And one of the things I want to do tonight is session number 13, celebrate. I want to celebrate because I never believed this course was so informative and with so much ideas, and it challenges you, it makes you think, it makes you realize, it keeps your feet on the ground as to when you become a coach. And that's the benefit of our people who be coming in who've not heard of coaching at all. Can you take us through the idea of explaining the new insight certification process? What's the process when start enrolling and becoming a part of this program?
Right, there's really 2 parts. You know, there's like I explained earlier on, there's a transitional part of the 6-month program, which is the goal setting part that you're helping people to achieve, but there's also the transformational part of it, which is, you know, we weave in all this personal development content as we take people through these sessions. So it's a very powerful coaching program, and also contained within that, as I mentioned earlier as well, is 2 parts. There's the theory part of it, and also there's the practical part of it. So that you'll have all the theory that you'd need to have in place that's going to enable you to be a fantastic coach. And also you've got the practical side of things where you're going to get plenty of opportunity to practice on practice clients, so you get really competent and confident and have a great understanding of the coaching program that we take people through.
Wow. You know, Lyn, I'm just thinking to myself, what more can I ask for what I'm learning here already? It just given me a real insight as to the gritty bit of life coaching, which is taking us into a very deep depths of the power of how life coaching is. And I can understand how people out there now are becoming life coaches, because it's very powerful tool, and it actually works once you start to put it in process. So can you show us now what's included? What kind of information will we get? Is there a package? Is included in this insight pack?
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look then. So first of all, what's contained within the pack? Well, first of all, there's our code of ethics. Now, it's very important to us at New Insights that we have totally ethical, high quality coaches that come from a place of real integrity and honesty. So we do get people to sign up to our code of ethics, because we want the best of the best out there, and we want to be representative of being the best of the best in terms of training. So we do get people to sign a code of ethics, and should, for whatever reason, people don't meet that code of ethics, then they can then be not granted a license to use the course materials. So, that's only granted if you're prepared to sign that and you stick to the ethical guidelines that we've laid out there to meet those high standards. Also within the training pack, we've got the 7 manuals here. Now, this is the theory side that I mentioned earlier on of the coaching. And at the end of each of these 7 manuals, there is a quiz at the end, and it's very user friendly. It's very easy to read. It's not got any hard jargonistic language in there at all. It's very student friendly. Each manual takes no time at all to zip through, and there is some general questions there at the back of each manual, just to make sure that you do have a good understanding of what's contained in the manual, and you haven't completed all the exercises, etc., that's in it. And obviously you want to make sure that you're assessed along the way. So there is that correspondence type element to the course, where you are sending us these tests in to be assessed to make sure you meet the standards. So that's what these manuals are here. There's 7 of those. Also, within the training pack, there is a complete DVD pack of the 13 sessions. Now, this is what I found really useful and really powerful. I mean, they're not Hollywood quality by any standards, but that aside, it's the content that's important. And for me, to have a visual tool like that, where I can watch a coach somebody through each session individually and learn from that and make notes on that and just stop and pause it prior to actually going out and delivering that session myself was brilliant. I loved that. That was a really useful tool for me, and that was a great motivator in me buying this particular training program. Also, as well as the DVDs, we've got the session notes in hard copy here. So if you're working with somebody face to face, then you can photocopy the session notes out of this hard copy pack here to work with your future practice or paying clients. Or again, within this pack, there is the actual CD-ROM of 13 sessions as well, that you can send somebody electronically if you are working with them remotely. I'm actually, in a lucky position where I'm based abroad, so my clients I coach via Skype or on the phone, and so I do need to send them quite often the notes remotely not remotely, electronically via an email. So there is those options there. Really exciting and surplus to all of that you probably won't get with another training provider, is that you get all the business support materials as well included within the training. So you're not getting the tools that you need to qualify you as a high level coach. You're actually getting some business support manuals, and the first one is a manual that contains all the information you're going to need to give yourself a great business plan to work from. The next one is business success manual, which gives you some great hints and ideas of how to run your business. And then also we've got the sales training manual and the marketing manual. So it's a real business in a box. It's not just a qualification. It is an absolute business opportunity, and you get support throughout all of the training. And I just can't speak highly enough about the opportunity here. You know, I mean, where else could you get not only the qualification, but also the skills that you're going to need to make that qualification work for you to set yourself up in a new and exciting career going forward.
So one of the things you mentioned, Lynn, is about face-to-face, and I just thinking that people will be thinking, well, how do I get practice clients? So can you explain to us a little bit more in the details about that? So how do trainees get practice clients? How does it work?
Great question, Trevor. And the answer is that for me, it was very easy, actually. It was easier than what I actually thought. But a great starting point would be to obviously look at your phone address book, see what contacts you've got in there, on your mobile as well, that would include, and in your email address book, see which contacts you've got in there, and just see who you might think might be up for being one of your practice clients to practice these coaching sessions on. You know, because as part of the training, we will expect you to do at least 13 practice session ones. And the reason that we want you to practice session one so frequently is because it's on the back of being great at delivering that you'll capture people's imaginations and curiosity and excitement about them then wanting to then invest in continuing the rest of the program. So we want to make sure you're really confident and competent at delivering session one. And then out of those 15, we would want you to also choose about 3 to coach right through the whole 13 sessions. So again, you're getting really confident and competent at learning the whole training program. Now, what I found when I did this was I went down the gym and I just suddenly had a thought, you know what, I'm going to ask my personal trainer if he'll be one of my practice clients. And lo and behold, he said yes. And he said, yeah, no problem. I'd love to be one of your practice clients. So anyway, he became one of my practice clients and one of my very first that I practiced on. And he was so enthused right from the word go that soon word of mouth got round, and soon before I knew it, you know, other personal trainers were asking me if they could be my practice clients. And on the back of that, then I started to get management asking me if they could be one of my practice clients. And then on the back of that, lo and behold, members then started asking me if they could be one of my practice clients. And before I knew it, I was inundated with people just from that one source. It was like a ripple effect, you know, with people wanting to be my practice clients. And not only that, but on the back of that, you know, once I got my qualification, that then transferred over into them becoming my future paying clients. So that was how I got started, just mainly from that one source. So, you know, think about where you might be a member of or could be a member of that enable you to get a foot in the door, you know, to having that ripple effect happen for you if this is something you're interested in.
And then you know what's interesting about this is that some of us don't realize that we're actually communicating with everybody every day. We go to work, we're in our families, we go into social clubs or a business and network club, and to actually get them, they're out there. It's just that we have to make ourselves available and to actually speak to them and present something like this to them. So it's quite supportive if people do ask them that we want to help them with some trainees to do a practice client. So they're quite okay to help them, aren't they, sometimes?
Absolutely. You know, I never had any problem attracting practice clients at all. As I say, in the end, I think, you know, I was having to sort of turn people away unless they were prepared to pay for it. So, and that's what I did. Even before I got my qualification, I was starting to charge minimal fee even before I got my qualification. So that's how easy I found it. So not a problem, not a problem at all. You just need to engage people in conversation, like you say, Trevor.
Right. Well, saying that, what I find now, more and more people are going into their mobile and texting everybody now. We're seeing as soon as you get the bus stop, somebody's on their mobile, ticking away, they're talking to their friends. So it's a community, it's a power, it's absolutely tap into. So it's a powerful instrument, very, very powerful. So now the next thing I want to take you to is to ask you about the importance to having your own coach. Now, I understand that when I was an athlete, I couldn't compete in my running 100 meters without a coach. Just to be number one, I have to have a coach. So to me, I know it's important to have a coach because they've done it, they've been there, and what they're doing, they're passing that experience onto me to become a successful athlete. Now, in the life coaching, is it really important to have your own coach?
I'd say definitely yes. It depends what standard you want to operate at. It's not essential, but I would say, if you're expecting people to invest in you and invest in you as a coach, then why wouldn't you be a role model for that? If you're expecting people to invest in coaching with you, why wouldn't you have already or be currently investing in a coach yourself who's at a higher level than you are? You need to sort of be realistic about what you portray to your future clients. If you're expecting them to invest, then why wouldn't you set the tone and be a role model for that? And show that, on the back of your own investment in a coach, what you've achieved. So I would say absolutely it is important. It's not essential, but I would say it's very important. And if you want to set yourself up for being a fantastic high level top coach, then why wouldn't you want to invest in hiring a top level high paying coach? And then you can pick their brains to the heart's content. You can model what they've done to achieve that success. And I've never regretted doing that. I've done that right since I first qualified in 2006. And I've never regretted doing it. It's always been a pleasure, and it's always reaped the rewards down the line. So absolutely, I would say yes, it is valuable investing in having your own coach, but it's not essential.
Okay, excellent. Now, Lynn, you've been doing life coaches for a number of years, and I'm so excited, and sure are people joining the webinar, to get a feel of your experience of being a life coach. So, just give us insight exactly what is it actually like being a life coach?
Well, I've got a very exciting personal story to reveal to our listeners, Trevor. I mean, for me, my story, I suppose, it goes back obviously to childhood initially, but my personal development journey didn't really begin until 2005, and at that time I was 45, and I don't know, I just had this urge and need to change things for myself, and one of those was my career. Another thing was to focus on my health. So I started, I first of all joined the gym and started working out with a personal trainer. And then by 2006, I'd qualified as a New Insight certified coach because I'd signed up for the program. And then by 2007, I'd been that successful within my own coaching practice that I became New Insight's UK head coach and trainer. So that was a great start to my coaching career within a year. And then by 2008, I'd also lost 5 stone in weight, as well as become the New Insights International head coach and trainer. But there's more, Trevor. from, uh, from 2009, I was I was a finalist in the Britain's Next Top Coach competition, and I was also entered into the Intercontinental Book of Who's Who, where you have to, demonstrate that you've achieved certain successes within your industry. So that was quite exciting, yeah. And there's more.
Wow.
in 2010, I actually plucked up the courage to end a 20-year, well, more than 20 year, 23 years in total marriage, which was, quite a challenging thing to do. And I'm not saying all of this has been easy or without its challenges, but what's been great and empowering is that, when you go through your own personal development journey, you learn how to deal with things in a far more positive, effective way. So even, challenging things like ending a long marriage, which wasn't a bad marriage, it was an okay marriage, but it wasn't a bad or abusive marriage or anything like that. It was just one that wasn't fulfilling for me. I just felt, that there had to be something more in a relationship out there, and so I ended that relationship, and literally 6 months later, after ending that relationship, I attracted my soulmate Paul, who I've been with now for 4 years, and absolutely know for definite that I made that right choice. It was quite painful at the time, but I actually realised that it was for a real big higher reason, and I can't be more delighted that I made that decision, and I'm now in such a passionate, fulfilling, intimate relationship. It's just blown my mind. But there's more still, Trevor. On the back of that, Paul and I set up a successful Sporting Hearts charity. Mainly it's his baby, and he's got that up and running, and I've supported him in getting that set up. And despite there being since then a world recession, that charity has grown phenomenally over the last few years. So I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of that charity that we set up then, and it's absolutely doing phenomenally well. So absolutely really excited about that. But there's even more, Trevor.
Wow.
We emigrated 18 months ago to the south coast of Spain. So that's where I'm currently living, and that's where I'm currently speaking to you from. Literally 10 minutes from the sea. Living a humble existence, really so fulfilling, so rewarding. I feel great wealth and abundance without necessarily labeling myself as being wealthy and abundant. It's a mindset thing, but there's even more, Trevor.
Wow.
I'm really focused now on achieving a major contribution goal, and I'd love to leave a legacy of education, especially in the third world. So that's my big, huge goal. And I never used to have big, huge goals when I first started this journey. I never thought I ever would. You literally, when you first start, you start with quite small goals, that just affect you maybe just personally to start with, and then your goals start to grow bigger with time as you succeed in different areas and achieve great results on the back of previous learnings, and that's what's happened with me. My goals have just expanded as I've traveled this journey year on year, the initially it was just myself, and then it was my family, friends, and community. Then it was my region, and then nationally, I was affecting more people. Than internationally, I was affecting more people, and it just grows exponentially year on year. So just know that that isn't a necessary expectation on anybody who embarks on this program. You just might want to keep it quite small, but just know that can, and quite often does, happen to coaches, that they do become real big game players in the world of change. So very exciting. And
Wow.
I just can't believe, to be honest, how blessed and fulfilled I am. I'm really, really, really so grateful for the life I've got. Really am.
The other big difference is that you're in the heat, I'm in the cold in UK.
I don't like to tell people about. Yeah, and that's very true. But one thing I'd also like to tell people about is, you quite regularly within this industry get fantastic feedback from your own clients, which have their own success stories. And I'd love to be able to share a couple of success stories with you, Trevor, tonight, if I may.
Yes.
I've got one here from Terry Edward, and he said, I've been working with Lyn since the beginning of last year. I recently went back and looked at my notes from my first session. Wow, I've achieved nearly twice as much in both financial and personal goals. I feel I'm so much greater than I was 12 months ago. Lyn's gentle pushing, cajoling, and excellent questions have taken me to another level. I cannot thank her enough. Thanks, Lyn. So that's from Terry. And then I had another one from Richard. He says, Hi, Lyn. I just have to send you this message to thank you for being quite literally changing my life. Since being coached by you, I've gained confidence to double my fees and really hone my niche. Remember when you first started coaching me and I told you that I'd rather die than give an on-stage presentation? Well, I gave my first presentation last weekend and it went fantastically well. And yes, I'm still alive. You believing in me and giving me the confidence to do it makes me feel like I've really arrived. Bring on the next one, and thanks for being a great coach and making it possible. Now, what other industry do you regularly, week in, week out, get testimonials and thanks and emails and letters like that? It's just so rewarding.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I'm sure what comes out of all this is the confident level of when you become a life coach. Your confidence levels goes through the roof as you go the practicing, as you learn to how to use the tools and the programs. So I can understand your testimony, and I can see the passion you have behind it in helping people to become life coaches as well. So thank you so much indeed for that, Lyn. One of the things that we do find over a number of years is the number of coaching programs have grown with different companies. We need to understand, why would we choose New Insight? Why would somebody want to choose New Insight?
Again, another great question. Why would you? I mean, I did do my due diligence prior to choosing New Insights myself, so I did do my research, and there are many reasons why I would highly recommend choosing New Insights. So let's go through those. New Insights was established internationally over 11 years ago now. We had our 10-year big celebration last year, so this is our 11th year. So we've got literally certified life coaches all around the world. We're an international training provider, and we've got, as I say, those certified coaches all around the world. So it doesn't matter where you're based, it doesn't matter who you want to coach, you can do this qualification. It's a system that's easy to use, and you can coach face-to-face with people via the phone or Skype. So you can coach literally anybody, anytime, anywhere. I've even coached people from across the other side of the world when I've been sitting here in Manati, at 5 o'clock in the morning. Because that's, just how the time difference has affected the means and the when and the where that we've arranged the time at that particular time for a session. So that's really, how flexible this industry is in this coaching program. And then within this, as I said to you earlier, it includes a full business support package. That's quite rare. I don't know any other training provider that provides a full business support package to help you start up your own business on the back of getting your qualification. Also, we have a very flexible, easy to use coaching system which works with any coaching niche. So, for example, if you wanted to specialize at being a business, an executive, a relationship or health coach, then it works with any niche anything you could care to think of. It also works with any specific client group. So, think about what your target market might be. So if you were targeting retirees, working with students and young people, or if you were targeting parents, for example, or specific areas of industry, like if you wanted to target police officers or accountants, if you've got sort of background, or teachers, then any client group this system works equally well with any of those. It works within any dynamic, so you can either coach people one-on-one, or if you wanted to have group sessions to make it cheaper or more accessible to more people, then you can also coach groups and have group workshops around the training that we provide. So that's great. You can also use it in and around any specific problem or challenge. For example, if you wanted to focus on being a stress coach or a confidence coach, again, equally as good to fit around any particular target problem like that or challenge. Also, incorporated within it is not just your coaching skills and helping people achieve goals, but there is some very, very, very powerful personal development content within there. I can't stress that enough either, that it really is life-changing stuff. Also, it is a correspondence home study course, so you can go at your own pace and you'll get feedback and support throughout. You have up to 2 years to complete the course. Most people tend to complete it within 9 to 12 months. I personally, went for it, and I managed to do it within 7 months, and I didn't really have to work especially hard to do that, but that it is achievable within 7 months even. There are also follow-up training workshops for those who aspire to higher levels of training, and if you actually manage to get on those high-level workshops, then one of them is called Advanced Coach Training, and if you shine especially well on the Advanced Coach Training workshop, then you'll get chosen to actually go onto an even higher level of training, which is called our VIP course, and that is by invitation only. And those are coaches that have shown it, themselves to be exceptional, and are the crop that get invited onto what's called our VIP course, which stands for Valued Independent Partner. So some exciting follow-on courses for those that aspire to carry on their learning and achieve more.
Wow. Well, everybody's out there now looking for a way to generate an income. And, with the situation, the economy at this moment, but we do know that the life coaching industry is booming because everybody out there is looking for solution, and life coaching is about helping people meet their needs and give them solutions. So how can you tell us, does life coaching, does it pay financially or otherwise? How does it actually work then?
Right, financially, let's have a look at an example. And again, this is an example that's for those people that do have access to our free report that's given in there, and do know that this is very realistic. Some people might think, oh, this is just bull, but it's absolutely not. For me, when I first got qualified, I was charging £35 a session, and a session equates to about an hour to an hour and a half of your time. And no, within 2 years, I was charging £75 a session easily. And if you had 15 clients paying £70 a session, you'd actually earn £1,125 a week on that. And if you only work 46 weeks of the year, you'd generate over £50,000 per year. So that's not bad, is it, for 15 to 25 hours per week having fun? It's a no-brainer to me, that is. Absolute no-brainer. And as for the non-financial rewards, which is to me is equally, if not more important, the non-financial rewards, just think about defining your own success. If you're constantly feeling happy, excited, motivated, challenged, and truly fulfilled, and you know that you're making a difference, achieving your own personal growth, and really enjoying a real work-life balance, how rewarding is that? Putting aside the financial rewards. That's just the cherry on the cake, isn't it? The financial side, but to actually have a career that gives you all of that is priceless in itself. So I want you to also think about that, even if you earned half that income, you could easily pay for the course. The course could easily pay for itself within a month of your earnings.
Okay, Lynn. So, at this moment, we just want to look at how much does the program actually cost. And now everybody's learnt a lot here. We're going to be taking questions to the end. So I ask all our attendees, if you have any questions, we will be taking them to the very end of this webinar. So please do get ready to put your questions in the text at the bottom of the right in the chat room, and then we'll able to put the question forward to Lynn. Okay, so Lynn, how much did the program actually cost then?
Okay. Well, I think it is a very reasonable cost. And you can see there that, I do feel that as coaches, we are natural mentors and leaders, decision makers and action takers. So, if you're not going to decide now, when is my question to you. The actual coaching program normally costs £1,245. Now that is inclusive of all the business support materials as well within that. And because it is quite naturally, a minimal cost anyway, we don't make high margins on this. There's not a lot we can knock off the price, but we managed to get Bill to offer £100 off if you register before next week. But I wanted to add an extra bonus in with that, which I'll explain in just a minute what that extra bonus is to make it a bit more higher value for you. So Bill's offered £100 off if you register before next week. You can pay all in one go, or there is the opportunity to pay by instalments, and that can be over 6, 9 or 12 months. And you'd also still qualify for that £100 reduction of price, even if you pay by instalments. So all you need to do, if you decide that this is definitely the course for you and you have made that decision, then in the last email that Bill sent you, you'll find that there is a link for you to click straight onto the New Insights order register page. And if you enter this promotional code, it will give you the opportunity to then either pay by PayPal if you're paying by credit card, or you can pay by bank transfer if you're paying by EFT. Right, going on to the bonuses that you get, what I'm going to offer personally is the first 5 attendees who register for the program, they'll get free one-to-one coaching sessions with me, valued at £594. Now, do know that my sessions currently, I charge at £297 a session. My first session is always a free complimentary, so the following 2 are the sessions that are way that you're actually getting the added value. So together with that £100 discount, that's a total of nearly £700 worth of added webinar bonuses for you if you register between now and next week. So get excited about that, because I will give you some really truly knockout, sensational, high value, good quality coaching sessions within those 3 sessions, and you can pick my brains to your heart's content. Just know that however long those sessions take, I'm there for you, and I'll give you great service and I'll give you great value. We also make sure that we, as part of our ethics and the quality that we want you to feel, and the service that we want you to feel as part of being part of the New Insights family, is that we're going to give you a full day's money back guarantee, and that's standard anyway. If you decide that this course is not for you for whatever reason, all you need to do is simply return it and you'll get a full refund. So it's over to you. Check your email. There is a link to go straight to the New Insights website page in your email. It will take you straight to the order register page, and if you enter the promotional code, then again, if you're one of the first 5, you'll get those free coaching sessions with me. And I guarantee I will give you my best ever service and value, and allow you as much time as you want in those sessions to pick my brains and get my coaching tips and hints to help you become the next New Insights head trainer and coach. Who knows where this decision could. It all starts with that first decision, doesn't it? My decision first started mainly by taking this decision, amongst a few others, in relation to working on my health, to sign up for this course, and that's why I am where I am. Okay, so I want to thank you all very much for coming to our webinar. And I want to ask, why are you still reading this? It's time to make a decision and take action.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to say on behalf of Trevor and myself, thank you very much.
Absolutely fantastic. It's been...
On to you.
Lyn, I don't know what to say. It's absolutely fantastic what you presented here. So much content and information here, and I'm sure our attendees have got some questions they'd like to ask. And before I go to ask everybody to forward their questions, at the bottom at the right you see a chat box. If you want to put your questions in there, we've got this opportunity now to put your questions forward to Lyn. Lyn, you mentioned about you were going to be providing a one-on-one coaching session. We've had somebody in the room who said, I had a session with Lyn, she is brilliant.
Oh, thank you very much for that, whoever that was. Who was that, Trevor? Do you know? Can you remember?
By the name of Sarah Hallett.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for that. If you're still on the call, you can see I've had a bit of fun there at the end, where I've said that we've left the room, but obviously I did want to give people the opportunity. I realise we have run over time. We were planning for the webinar to last an hour. We've already run over 10 minutes, but I did want to sort of give people the opportunity, if they still did have any questions, to enter them, and I'll try and answer a couple briefly, and if I don't get to answer them all, then if you send me them by email, I'll certainly do my best to make sure I get back to you later this evening with some great answers that I'll send to everybody.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got this opportunity for the next 5 to 6 minutes. We're going to ask if you would like to have any questions. Please do send them in the chat room right now, and we will answer the questions. And while we're waiting for you to forward it, I believe there was a couple of questions from the very beginning. Let me see if I can quickly have a look at some of those questions, and I think they might have been answered throughout the webinar. Let's have a look. I think you probably covered this one, Lyn. You did mention somebody asked by the name of Patrick, and I believe you're still with us. He was asking, how long does it take approximately before you can start earning money as a coach?
Right. Well, as I said, Patrick, right at the before I even got the qualification, I was starting to charge people. So once you start feeling confident enough, really, in what you've learned, you can start charging. I mean, I was starting a minimum of £10 before I'd even got qualified. Of people, with my practice clients, I was charging them because, as I said, by the end, I was being inundated with people that wanted to be my practice clients. So as soon as you start to feel confident and competent enough to think, yeah, actually now, I'm ready to go, start charging, even if it's with practice clients. Know the value of the information that you're giving them is phenomenal. So go for it.
Absolutely.
Right. From the time you feel you're okay with the information contained within the program.
Absolutely. And I have to say, everyone, that I've actually done the life coaching with New Insight, and I have to say, from my personal experience, it's a fantastic program. It's got me to where I am. It's given me more confidence. It's allowed me to coach more people, and it's allowed me to earn a revenue. So this coaching practice is national, international. So like Lyn said, you can coach anybody anywhere in the world. And just another one from Patrick. Wow, Patrick, you're very busy tonight. And it says, do you give advice on how to get clients?
Absolutely. Literally, like I said, mine started and snowballed from just my practice clients, and you'll find that probably yours will too. That it'll just be a natural continuation. I have honestly never had to market myself or advertise myself. Hand on heart, all my business has been generated through either referrals or recommendations or through delivering live events. So, just know that if you get good at doing what you're doing, you'll never even need to spend any money on marketing. So, world's your oyster. Go for it.
We have another question from Katie. Katie asked earlier on throughout the webinar is also, do you give advice on how to set pricing?
Yes. What I'd recommend is review your fees every 3 months. I didn't necessarily put my fees up every 3 months, although probably initially to start with I was consistent in putting my prices up every 3 months. But, review your fees every 3 months is my advice. And if you're not sure how to decide how much to increase them by, then I can certainly provide advice on a strategy for determining what feels good and right for you.
Okay, just looking through the questions. Let's have a look. Okay, Katie asked a question. She said, let's have a look. Yeah, I've already started the course and I've begun coaching, but need to have some myself. Can I get in touch with you for that?
Absolutely. Absolutely fine. Yeah, as I said earlier, I offer my first coaching session as a free, no obligation coaching session. So if you want to take me up on having that, by all means do so.
Hey,
Go for it.
brilliant.
As Nike says, just do it. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you need to be cheeky now and again, do it. The worst that can happen is that somebody can say no.
Absolutely.
Never fear a no. Just
Absolutely.
taking you closer to a yes.
Right. Okay, I want to ask everybody in the room. Oh, Katie said thank you. She said she will get in touch with you.
Excellent.
Right. Okay, I want to ask everybody who hadn't asked any questions is it, just to put the question to you, are you still thinking of the idea of coaching for you if you want to type number 1? Or is it that you're ready to jump onto the horse and ride many miles and get yourself ready to take on this real life coaching practice? Could you just type in there, if you are feeling you're just wanting to know more about the coaching, type number 1. And if you're ready to jump onto the horse and take a quick ride through, type number 2. We've got a couple of people here who say I'm part way through the course, so there's some people who've already started it.
Excellent. I'm pleased to hear that. I did recognise some of the people's names actually that registered for the course. So hello to those that already know me and have been in touch with me and have already experienced a bit of coaching. So lovely to see and hear from you. And let me know how you're getting on if you're working through the course and you've already signed up for it. I'd love to know how you're getting on, genuinely.
I think you've got an answer already to that, Lynn. Somebody by the name of Jackie Small. She said, I've already signed up for the course and I'm really enjoying it. So she looked like she got a glass of wine in her hand at the same time as well. She's celebrating.
Love it.
Lynn, just to highlight, because you mentioned about it's worldwide, could you quickly give us a example of which countries are we at the moment New Insight is coaching? Could you name me 1 or 2 countries so people can get a feel of it's not just a UK practice, it's a worldwide practice. So could you give us an idea of some of those countries?
Well, I can give you a bit of a history. It was started up originally in Australia, then it come in 2003, then it come over to the UK. I think it's also in Singapore. From the UK, it got established in South Africa and some of the Zimbabwe, and literally from being based in the UK, there's a lot of European coaches. I know of coaches that have signed up from Belgium, France, anywhere where usually English is a second language around Europe, there's been a lot of sign-ups in and around Europe, but we haven't actually got New Insights managers operating there, but we've actually got New Insights qualified coaches operating there, if you see what I mean. So we haven't always got people managing from a New Insights base in all those countries, but we have got qualified coaches that have done the training through the places where it is operating. So very exciting, very far-flung places around the world where we've actually got established bases, but also, as I say, on and around all those established bases are New Insights trained coaches that are operating, including myself in Spain.
Absolutely. So, Lyn, I have one more question that I tend to have a question, because through the webinar you mentioned some very key points for the benefits of those who are learning more about coaching and wanting to probably step into the real world of coaching. So I understand it's a very, very powerful tool and it's operating worldwide. It's simple to get yourself started on Skype and etc. So could you tell it briefly about how do you see the next couple of years, how coaching is going to take over the industry? Because I find it's rising to such a level, because you look at the market now, everybody out there now is looking for a solution. They need somebody to help them to get them out of debt, to help them with family situations. The crisis is getting worse. So being a coach, I would say the prime time is now, because everybody's looking for somebody to help them. Is that right?
I would say absolutely, it's a great time to get involved. It's becoming more well known, the industry as a whole. The personal development industry is becoming more and more well known, and certainly since when I first got qualified, very little was known about it. But the other thing is that I've lost my thread now. Exactly what I was to say when you was talking, and then I've lost it as I've been thinking about it. Go over what you just said to me, Trevor, again, and see if it triggers what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure, no problem. What I mentioned is the power of life coaching is so powerful that when you look at the today economy, everybody out there is looking for a solution. So being a life coach, the prime time is to become a life coach is now, I would say, than the last 4 or 5 years. Because more of the problem people are having, the more solution and help we can provide. Is that correct?
Yeah, now I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say is another fact or stat I was going to impart was that coaching and training and personal development is second only to IT in its exponential growth. So, think on that as a reason to get involved now. Does that answer the question for you?
Okay, so I believe everybody has got any more questions? Yes, it answered my question, absolutely. Just to find out, okay, I think everybody is happy. I want to say thank you so much for everybody joining us in the webinar, and also a big round of applause to Lyn Smith. Thank you so much for joining us and taking us on a journey of life coaching. Thank you, Lyn.
Thank you very much, Trevor. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm sure. I try
to see and speak to the others that have been on the webinar soon. So.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your time. Thank you for joining us. Have a fantastic week, and please do get in touch with Lyn if you are thinking to know more about the coaching, and take it from there. And do let us know, for those who joined the course, get in touch with Lyn. Let her know exactly how you are getting on with the course. So once again, thank you everybody. Take care and have a fantastic evening. Bye.